Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos and memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Well, growing up, we had a neighborhood full of boys, so every day I was outside playing something. We were either playing basketball in the driveway, wiffle ball and basketball in Myron's or Schmaker's backyard, and football was a constant with our group. And I fell in love with the Pittsburgh Steelers in 1975 when they beat the Vikings. And Todd Schmaker's dad, Bill, used to bring him and I to the men's basketball open gym where Todd and I would work on our football skills and diving into the huge foam mat. That was one of the best memories I have of back then playing football. Football began for me in 7th grade, being coached by Jack Hammergan and Dave Ziba. They were instrumental in teaching us the fundamentals of football. In 8th grade, I moved on to having Bob Salo and Coach Cleveland teach us how to play the game before we went on to high school. As a freshman, I was fortunate enough to play with some 10th graders, some upperclassmen who really made me feel part of the team, and coached by Mark Solberg and Lowell Schweigert. After that, it was kind of interesting. My sophomore year, I went up to the varsity, and I played some quarterback and some defensive back, and also punted. And lo and behold, after we lost a heartbreaker 3-2 to Hastings, Wednesday the following week, Coach Larson came up to me and said I'd be starting that week against St. Cloud Apollo. And you could imagine a 15-year-old being very nervous to play for a coaching legend like George Larson. Ironically, it was the only game my parents ever missed in my sporting career because they were on a trip to Arkansas and had no idea that I'd be playing that weekend. Needless to say, they didn't miss much. I was 1 for 9 passing, but more importantly, we won the game, and we won 27 straight games following that. So football obviously has been a big part of my life. Dave Ziba was my 7th grade basketball coach, really focused on the fundamentals. Moved on to 8th grade with Bob Salo, who gave me my love for statistics. He always gave us a game chart after the game. In the summer of going into 9th grade, Bill Cast came to our house and invited me to play varsity basketball as a freshman. Coach Cast and the whole team made me really feel comfortable and made me feel part of the team. Going into my junior year, Mike McDonald came into the Blue Jacket program, and he really inspired and motivated a lot of us to be better players. He was a great coach because he'd take me to the gym, and it just him and I would be there practicing our skills, shooting, and working on different drills. So he really made me a better player. In golf, started when I was 7 years old. So I started playing JV golf in 7th grade and moved on to varsity golf in 8th grade. Again, playing with the upperclassmen who were very good to me, and was able to play varsity for 5 years, and we had very successful teams. I was fortunate enough to go to St. John's University and continue my football career. Interestingly enough, I played for the winningest high school football coach ever, and I moved on to playing for the winningest college football coach ever, John Gallardiat, and received all conference honors my senior year and academic All-American regional team. So. Obviously, the biggest accomplishment as a team that we had was winning 2 state championships in 1986 and 1987 in football. Individually, I was able to make all-conference a number of times, academic, all-state football teams. I was even a candidate for Mr. Basketball my senior season. In golf, we had very good teams again. Won the conference title as a sophomore, and as our team did as well. And in college, again, we had very successful teams, and I was fortunate enough to be all-conference and academic All-American. And in 2013, I was inducted into the Cambridge Hoops Hall of Fame.
I hope you had the time of your life.
I've spent the last 25 years in the Lakeville area public schools. Began my career as a teacher for 7 years, moved on to a dean of students at a middle school for 7 years. In the past 11 years, I have been the principal at Oak Hills Elementary School. I have twin sons, Jack and Luke, that are going to be seniors at Rosemont High School, and they're involved in athletics as well, in track and cross country. Well, I'd like to start out with my parents, who gave me unending support, both academically and athletically. My father passed away 17 years ago, and I often wonder what he'd be thinking about my nephews who are in sports, and my nieces, and my 2 boys. I know that he'd be just as excited as he was with me to watch them in sports. I want to thank my sisters. They were always very supportive. Deborah was always encouraging me. Catherine was holding the part of the chain gang at middle school football games, and Rachel was always there through high school as well. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge and especially thank George Larson, Bill Cast, and Bob Thies for giving me my start in football, basketball, and golf. Individually, I want to thank Todd Schmaker. I've never competed against anybody who had the will to win as much as I did. And lastly, I want to thank my wife Patty and my twin boys Jack and Luke for their support, guidance, and love.
It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.